Hey guys, how you going? I'm Jason Gilbert.
And I'm Sebastian Miro.
Recently, Sebastian and I were having a chat, and it was obvious that we were both really bothered and affected by the fact that there are so many people in our society suffering with avoidable problems. And when we talked about the suffering and whether it be, psychological problems or weight problems or lack of energy problems or more obvious problems like diseases, what we recognize, guys, is that 90% of our diseases today are lifestyle related diseases. Or in other words, we have an influence. We're the ones that choose whether that happens to us or not. And too many of us, as we said, accept disease as bad luck. Okay, so what we thought would be amazing and what our aim is to present true health to you guys, okay, through a course that you can follow whereby we are passing our own tips from our own journey towards health, but also the tips that we've learned from experts all around the world, okay, so that you guys don't have to wait until you get sick to think about health, or if you are in a moment where you're more challenged by your health, maybe you've got a disease or some sort of other degenerative condition, to be able to use these tips and use these guides as a way of steering your body back to health. Now, we live in a society where we really only think about health when we lose it. So that's going to be one of the first things we do, isn't it, Sebastian? Challenge that definition and say, hey, hang on. Health isn't how you look or how you feel. Health is how you're functioning. Okay, so what we're going to do, and we've decided we're going to talk about the 3 pillars towards health: eat well, move well, and think well, that have definitely had an impact on our lives. And once again, through that, really hope that, people can but I guess our society can utilize tools that I always say, we should have been born with a user's guide so we could read it and avoid a lot of the suffering we go through unnecessarily.
So what I'm really, really passionate about is that this journey doesn't have to be painful to figure out what's right for you. So there can be a lot of confusion, and I've seen that. I've interviewed a lot of different experts through my work. I meet a lot of experts, and they all have good suggestions and of course experience in helping people, but it's often really specific to that particular person. But there is an overall playing field of baseline things that you can do, basic things that just help no matter whether you are this blood type, this body type, or live in this climate or that climate, that can help. So I'm really excited to bring this together in our 3 pillars. So find nutritional advice that works no matter what. Finding movement advice that works whether you are more on the fitter side or not so fitter side, whether you have injuries or not. And Jason is an absolute expert in that and works with people that are top performers as well as have top problems. And so you bring that somehow together and you find some playing field that you can do there. And the third, the same is true for the mind. You can actually find solutions that work for all sorts. So that confusion that you often experience can be taken away by just establish the basics that will help so much. And then on top of that, we will put specifics in it and we will point out, this is good if you are someone who exercises a lot. This is good for someone who just starts out. And we make that, you can tailor that towards your situation. But overall, we will just try to take this confusion away from you and just give you a good starting point to really go towards optimal health.
Exactly, perfect. And what that all, I guess, is broken down to is eat well, move well, think well. Okay, as Sebastian said, it can be very daunting sometimes. There's so much info out there. Where do we start? And sometimes being so daunted, not knowing where to start, we just simply don't start. So we're going to simplify that, get back to basics, okay? And with that, you'll have the tools. And I'll refer to it quite a bit, but that little user's guide, the manual that we should have been born with, but it's okay. Any time in life will always improve your health. We'll get back to that, get back to basics, and into our first one, which is understanding health. So this is our next video, guys, and you'll truly understand what health is, because many people don't understand what it is. They don't have a definition. Therefore, how can you want something you don't understand what it is?
And there is one baseline that people think that there is, and that's the age. So you think when you're 20, you should have optimum health, and that's great. But after that, it goes downhill, and then you turn 30, and the first problems occur 40 and even more. And if you apply these 3 pillars, you actually realize that it doesn't have to be like that, and you gain back your health. And through my work, I've seen people in the 60s, 70s, even 80s some of them fitter than me now because they actually just decided this is no good. I want to go back to health, or they had no choice because they were facing really severe issues and needed to do something. And the result is actually they are better off now than they were with 30. So that myth that age actually determines how your health is, we would love to dispel. And I think we will be able to do that because we have the basics covered that move you back to optimal health.
Sure. You can age younger. And that's one thing that we intend on teaching you guys. So let's get into our first video, okay, the intro on health, and we'll see you there.
Fantastic. See you there.